Hello, I'm State Rep Charlie Meier coming to you from Springfield. I represent the 109th District in Illinois. For my entire time here, I have done nothing but fight for our people with disabilities, making sure they have respect, making sure they get the care they want, and making sure they have the choices that they want. Right now in front of us, the bill that we stopped last year, 793, House Bill 793, is coming back. They've added an amendment. The amendment simply adds an extra year in time. It says 2, but we've already lost another year to a bad bill. This bill will take away possibly 50 to 70 or 80% of our people with disabilities working in 14C workshops to have a job. It sounds great. This bill was written for people with disabilities of being blind, being deaf. These people are very educated people. They can make a good living. They deserve to be paid well. But people with severe mental disabilities, they're not capable. They may have the mentality of a 4 or 5-year-old. That what they can accomplish is totally different than these others, and that's why the federal government has guaranteed the jobs of 14C3, and they're paid according to the work they do. They go, they have fun. They're with their friends. I describe it as being in a high school cafeteria at lunchtime. There's nobody saying you have to do this many or do this many. They sit there and they do what they can. They put the pieces together. They're proud of their paycheck. They don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay for tuition. They're not paying electric bills, but they're getting a paycheck, and they're proud of it. They're earning it with dignity. Naming this bill the Dignity and Pay Act seems to be a crime because it's taking away their dignity just because they have severe disabilities and they're not able to work as much as others, and they won't be employed. They want them to go into day programs. They're going to teach them how to make their bed. They're going to teach them how to do dishes. Oh, they'll have some outings, but they won't be like their other family members sitting around at the table with them. They won't be bringing home a paycheck. They have great value in that paycheck. It means so much to them. This program, the way it's written, will cost our workshops and the businesses they do business with going from $17 or $20 million a year up to over $50 million a year. These clients will have to take more out of their paychecks to pay their Social Security and their Medicare taxes. The workshops will have to pay more, like $2.5 million a year more Social Security and Medicare taxes on them, when the state's only going to give $2 million to 80-some workshops in the state of Illinois. It's not going to cover the cost. And what happens? Then what we show you. It's the proof is in the pudding. Where the workshops have to go and they had to keep state contracts, they had to lay everybody off. They couldn't pay minimum wage. Some of them laid off 80% of their workers just to keep a state contract, because there's no way you could pay somebody that maybe only gets 4 pieces an hour put together. I watch families drive their loved ones 20 miles in one direction so they can get on a handicap bus and get to workshop. And at that workshop, they're happy. They're doing something. And then that is repeated every day. You know, they're taken care of, they're feeling very useful, and they're proud. There is dignity. Sitting in a day program is not going to be dignity for them. This bill's taking that away. It's taking the choice of those families away. It's taking the choice of those clients away. And it's a handful of legislators doing that. When shouldn't the families and the clients have something to say about that? But not in the state of Illinois. Not if 793 passes. This right is gone. And it'll never come back. It's law in the federal government. I believe the state of Illinois should honor it. I will be glad to work with them because it's a great bill in theory. Let's see how we get there. Put an amendment out there. I have an amendment. It takes the deadline away for the ones who can't find a job anywhere. We'll give them a job and we'll pay them what we can. That money is raised by not-for-profits, churches, workshops, counties. Everybody throws money in there so that these clients can go and have a job. How many more bake sales? How many more walks do we have to do to come up with that extra $30 million from across the state.
Well, you guys, I'm recommending
You can do it, Penny. What you gonna tell them?
keep your jobs.
Yeah. David, I've known David a long time. My brother Mark could have come today. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My brother Mark works at Community Link along with David.
Yeah.
And he could have came today, but he chose to stay and work. And what'd you tell me before you came? What about your work?
You gotta keep it.
And what?
It ain't gonna take away either. I better fight in your hands.
Thank
I'll
you,
do
David.
it. I'll do it. I guarantee.
My name is Jeannie Gustafson. I'm from Monticello, Illinois, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about House Bill 793. This is my sister, Peggy. She is everything in that picture and more. If you've ever met her, you'll never forget her. Peggy was born with Down syndrome. She lived with us on the farm, and she's now approximately in her 50s. But at some point at that time, our parents came to the conclusion that they had to find an alternative from the farm for her to live for her long-term care. She ended up moving into Scylla after a lot of research, and then ended up going to work at the workshop. She met her best friend, Karen, and she bragged about her paychecks when she came on the family visits on the farm again when we got together. She was doing fantastic. In June of this last year, Peggy came to visit me, and she was absolutely beside herself. Distressed and disturbed doesn't even cut it. I even learned new words from her. She was that upset. She did not understand why she lost her job. She not only lost her job, she said, she didn't know if she was fired. And she said, but she still had to get on the bus and go to her job, but never got a paycheck. She said, I have to go and watch movies I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. I'm not happy. I want to go back to work. They won't let me go back to work, but I still don't get a paycheck. So she said that they talked to her about living in the real world. And she said, I don't think they understand that this is my real world and I'm happy. Can't I just do what I wanted to do? She has no concept of the consequences of eliminating the 14C certificates. The distress level was so high with Peggy that we ended up looking at alternatives. We talked about having her move in with Vince and I, but Vince and I are both in our 70s, and I don't think that'd be a great cure for anything. I talked to other Scyllas in the area, and there were some good facilities, but a lot of them were full, and finding that coupled with a place for her to go back to work, because that was her goal, would be difficult. We talked about retirement, but had she retired where she was at, she probably would have had to go and live at the Scylla that she was at all day with her best friend Karen, who's now in a gurney and hospice. Not the best of facilities for her for long-term happiness. Expecting the staff to keep her busy and take her out and do things with her is unrealistic as well. We were very fortunate that she was able to find another workshop in Southern Illinois that she was able to go back to work for, and is now back to that happy Peggy that we know. But we need to be cognizant of what happens when our loved ones who are used to going to work lose their job because of elimination of the 14C certificates. The House Bill 793 intent is well with dignity, but I think that we need to realize that the true definition of dignity is self-respect. That job gave Peggy self-respect. Losing it tore up her world. Taking her to theme parks and taking her bowling are fun, but it doesn't provide her the dignity of knowing that she's a productive citizen. You have to realize that under the Minimum Wage Act that we have now, it's not sub-minimum wage she's earning, it's commensurate wage that she's earning. She's getting paid according to her natural abilities and her time and talents. She's got a lot of time and talents, and there's a lot of things she could do. She could probably win a prize at Name That Tune. But when my friend from Georgia came up, my daughter's best friend, and her brother's Down syndrome, they talked about the same issues in Georgia. We both talked about how do you train somebody to be a productive, normal person in the capacity of everyone else when they work at the speed of smell. Peggy has 2 speeds, slow and slower. She's one of the few and one of the that has good restroom skills, but you're not going to cut that down to a 15-minute break. I'm respectfully requesting that if you expend money on anything, make it on all these other critical issues in Illinois. Don't subsidize Peggy's paycheck. She's in no risk of not being able to eat or sleep. She's got those capacities that a lot of people do not have. What she needs is the dignity that she has with going to work and doing that work at that pace that's comfortable with her and being with her friends that are her real world now. Let her work be her choice. Thank you so much for your consideration. I respectfully request that you not vote yes on House Bill 793. I encourage reevaluations, and I would hope that you would work with our workshop directors that are so talented and some long-term goals that you can have to change. But let's not fix what's working now. Let's focus on the issues that are so pressing for you in other capacities. I thank you in advance.
Please contact your legislators. Tell them to vote no on 793. We need an amendment. And then I'd be glad to be a co-sponsor of this bill. A simple amendment saying, let's protect everybody, not just the highest functioning. Thank you.